Andrew and I, from the very beginning, we have committed to being there for each other and supporting each other through anything and everything. And so even in the beginning of our marriage, I've had long periods of time where I didn't have a job, whether that was because I had quit a job or been impacted by mass layoffs, and Andrew was the one who had fully supported us through that. And so in the season where Andrew's in between jobs, I am more than happy to stand by him. And even through this transition, he did everything that he could to make sure that we're taken care of. Whether that's from picking up part-time jobs, freelance gigs, helping me with all the back end of my social media platforms, and along with finishing his master's.
It ended up being longer than I wanted to because I couldn't find a good opportunity, the right situation to work in again afterwards. I wasn't bringing in money for like basically 2 full years. I was doing some stuff part-time here and there, gig work, but mostly Sarah was just carrying. And one thing that I feel like I have to tell the world is not for a second ever did Sarah ever make me feel like I'm a burden, that I'm not pulling my weight, that she's resentful of me for not being able to provide for her. She 100% said, we are going through this together.
Yeah, and Andrew's painting like a really pretty picture, but it definitely wasn't pretty. I think I had to come face to face with the fact that
social media can only capture fractions of my whole life. And as much as I want to continue sharing these sweet moments, I do, after this experience, have a much clearer sense of what I do want to share with the public and what I will be keeping to myself in private.
I still have needs, just like, I think it makes sense as to why, I believe that a man is a provider of a home, even though realistically I'll probably be making more money than you for the rest of our lives. But I still have to come face to face with, I still need a provider. No matter how many times I can double, triple, quadruple your income, I still need a financial provider, or contributor. And it's like, how do I express that need to you without bringing guilt or shame along with it? Did I think about, what if I married rich during those hard times? Probably, yeah. Like, wow, if I just married a really rich dude, this wouldn't be happening. But like, damn, I am the really rich dude.
And so for those of you who have followed our journey for quite some time now, I am very grateful that you have gotten to know the Andrew that I very much still love to this day. The man who pampers me with daily massages from day one, has never let me even do a load of laundry. The man who's my absolute safe space and my home. And I cannot imagine having anyone else be my husband and the father of my future child.
I practice, but I suck, and it's kind of embarrassing. And what doesn't help is that there's this person who lives in my house, and she cackles every time I'm speaking in Korean. I'm trying my best, but she loves to laugh at me, and not just laugh at me, but point it out and be like, what did you just say? Can you say that again? Oh my gosh, you sound so stupid. Hold on. And she'll pull out her phone and she'll record it, right? So some of you have had the honor of seeing me humiliate myself on the internet, right? If you've seen any of my wife's videos, and she enjoys this process of pointing it out, and it can be difficult. It's cruel, right? What kind of cruel person does this? And
imagine being pregnant, juggling 2 full-time jobs, running a hit podcast, and keeping your home in order, all while your husband does absolutely nothing. That's the reality for TikTok star Sarah Kim, whose so-called perfect marriage to Andrew Min is now under a microscope, and the details are shocking. For years, Sarah has been one of TikTok's most beloved lifestyle creators, charming millions with her relatable content, from cozy family moments to her effortlessly stylish looks. But behind the curated feed, fans are now seeing a much darker truth. Sarah is drowning in responsibilities while her husband, Andrew, spends his days glued to his gaming setup. And the internet? They've had enough. The cracks started showing when Sarah, currently pregnant with their first child, began dropping subtle hints about her exhausting workload. Between managing her booming content career, hosting a podcast, and handling all the household duties, she's stretched to her limit. Meanwhile, Andrew's biggest contribution seems to be racking up kills in Call of Duty. Once fans connected the dots, the outrage went viral. Comments flooded in, calling Andrew out for being an absent partner and a deadbeat dad-to-be. Some even compared him to those infamous, weaponized incompetence husbands who let their wives do everything. But here's the real tea. This isn't just about Sarah and Andrew. Their situation has sparked a massive debate about emotional labor, unequal partnerships, and why so many women end up carrying the mental, physical, and financial load while their partners coast. The question now is, will Andrew finally step up? Watch this video all the way to the very end, because this story gets juicier by the minute. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. You won't want to miss what happens next.
First, I reached out to her dad in private. I was telling him I want to ask for his blessing to marry her. He was smiling, but the life went out of his eyes. 6, 7 months in, I was so bored, stuck at home, and so I started playing games on my computer. 2 weeks before my wedding, I decided to buy a PC. I'm not making any money, so what?
Did I think about what if I married rich? Probably. I'm like, damn, I am the really rich.
Her fans are flooding the comments, demanding to know, why is she still with Andrew? The guy who, from the outside looking in, seems to contribute nothing while Sarah does all the heavy lifting. And here's the kicker, neither of them seems bothered by it. So what's really going on here? Sarah Kim isn't your average influencer. With 2.8 million loyal followers, she's built her empire on raw, unfiltered authenticity. Whether she's cooking kimchi with her mom, opening up about mental health, or giving fans a peek into her daily hustle, people love her because she's real. She's the embodiment of hard work, cultural pride, and self-made success, which is why fans are stunned that Andrew, who appears to be living life on permanent vacation, is still in the frame. The contrast is impossible to ignore. While Sarah's posting, filming, and securing brand deals, Andrew's MIA. No job, no visible hustle, no explanation. So what's the deal? Is there more to this story? Could Andrew actually be the ultimate stay-at-home husband, handling things behind the scenes? Or are fans right to be outraged that Sarah's carrying this relationship alone?
My 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5.
I planned my outfit, so I'm not late. You guys, the sun's not even out. Oh my goodness. Bye.
Sarah isn't just another TikTok influencer. She's a full-blown superwoman balancing 2 high-pressure careers while prepping for motherhood. By day, she's a sharp-as-nails accountant, crunching numbers and managing corporate finances. By night, she transforms into a social media mogul, running a thriving podcast and engaging with her massive following. Most people struggle to keep up with one career, but Sarah, she's dominating too, all while pregnant. Sarah isn't just working for clout, she's building an empire. While other influencers live and die by brand deals, she's got a real career to fall back on. And with a baby on the way, her hustle isn't just impressive, it's necessary. But as her followers have pointed out, Andrew's role in all of this is unclear. Fans have been side-eyeing him for months. While Sarah's filming content after a full day at the office, where's Andrew? When she's editing podcast episodes late into the night, what's he doing? The imbalance is glaring. And as her due date approaches, people are demanding answers.
But then it seems like you're so far behind. Like you don't know or not concerned with, or you won't address the baby, you won't talk about the baby, you didn't necessarily ask me like, oh, like, how are you feeling? I needed you to ask me like 5 times a day or something.
Andrew Min's story is one of those jaw-dropping, how is this even possible? Tales that makes you question everything. On paper, he checks every box of success. Educated, devoted, even spiritually credentialed. He holds a master's degree in spiritual formation and soul care from the prestigious Talbot School of Theology, a program designed to shape future religious leaders. With that kind of pedigree, you'd expect him to be thriving, maybe leading a megachurch, writing best-selling devotionals, or at the very least, earning a stable paycheck. But reality, it's a hard left turn into financial chaos. Despite his years of study, pastoral experience, and undeniable passion, Main's career has been anything but secure. And here's the kicker, he once served as a pastor at a beloved church. Completely unpaid. Let that sink in. A man with a theological master's degree wasn't even making a salary while delivering sermons, counseling congregants, and dedicating his life to ministry. It's baffling, it's infuriating, and it forces us to ask, is Andrew Main's story just a fluke, or does it expose a much darker truth about the financial instability plaguing religious careers? Because think about it, is this a systemic issue where devotion is exploited, or is Maine's case just an extreme example of bad luck?
Goodness gracious. Today, as we start, I want to share with you something that I have been struggling with, and it's become a significant thing in my life. It's been really difficult. I have been trying to learn how to speak Korean, okay? And it's very hard, okay? I was born in Illinois behind a cornfield. I wasn't raised around a bunch of Korean people. My Korean is terrible, okay? And I practice, but I suck, and it's kind of embarrassing. And what doesn't help is that there's this person who lives in my house, and she cackles every time I'm speaking in Korean. I'm trying my best, but she loves to laugh at me, and not just laugh at me, but point it out and be like, what did you just say? Can you say that again? Oh my gosh, you sound so stupid. Hold on. And she'll pull out her phone and she'll record it, right? So some of you have had the honor of seeing me humiliate myself on the internet, right? If you've seen any of my wife's videos, and she enjoys this process of pointing it out, and it can be difficult. It's cruel, right? What kind of cruel person does this? And that story has no resolution. I'm doomed. But it reminds me of a story of when I was really little, and my dad, he told me this just a few years ago. He told me that my first language, actually, when I was a baby, I couldn't speak any English. I could only speak Korean, right? It's so unfair, okay? And I could only speak Korean. And when I started going to kindergarten, or what's it called? I started going to preschool when I was about 4 years old. And he says, I remember the day you first came home from preschool and having learned English, one English word. And you came home from school and you said, Papa, I learned a new word today. I learned something in English. Oh, what'd you learn, Andrew? He said, I told you so. Okay? My first words in English to learn were, I told you so. And at first I was like, oh, that's hilarious. That's kind of cute, you know? But then you kind of sit on it a little bit and it's like, that's kind of weird. Like, why of all things, the first thing that I held on to learning in English wasn't like hello or goodbye.
Fans are starting to raise eyebrows at Andrew's role in the family. Because let's be real, Sarah is out here doing the absolute most, while Andrew's financial contributions are looking real inconsistent. Sarah is juggling 2 full-time jobs, running her content and preparing for their first child, while Andrew's financial security remains, well, let's just say uncertain. After stepping back from ministry following a rough patch, it's unclear whether Andrew ever fully regained financial stability. Currently, he's a congregational pastor at Westgate Church, but small detail, his position isn't financially guaranteed. And when you stack that up against Sarah's steady dual income hustle, the imbalance becomes painfully obvious. Fans have started to question whether Andrew is actually pulling his weight, or just coasting while Sarah carries everything. And the real frustration, it doesn't seem like he's in much of a rush to change that. With a baby on the way, Sarah is grinding nonstop, yet Andrew's focus appears to be more on his personal and spiritual journey rather than actively securing their financial future. So, what do you think? Is this just an outdated relationship dynamic, or should Andrew be stepping up a lot more? Let's start a discussion in the comments section below.
Next year, the next year. It was like 7-ish, 7.5. So I don't know. Make it less dramatic. And then their demeanor started to change. Like, they were just like, how did you meet him? I'm like, oh, well, at a coffee shop. They don't really like that. And this guy is like romantically interested in you and wants to pursue something with you. Like, I mean, yeah, like we both kind of established mutual feelings. So we hope to start dating eventually, in the future, near future. And I think, like, you guys know my dad, he's the sweetest man ever. My brother and I cannot recall a time he's raised his voice at us ever. And he went cold. His face went stone cold and was just like, let me talk to him. Like, can you call him? Let me talk to him. I'm like, whoa, I don't even talk to him like that on the phone yet. Yeah. And he just was like, I want to know, like, what's going through his mind, to think that he can just, like, talk to my daughter like that. And I'm like, whoa, like, this is a pretty intense reaction from my dad. And then he kind of, like, followed up with, I was like, oh, Dad, like, I'm not letting you talk to this guy on the phone. What the heck? But then he just said, there comes a time in life where, as, like, in this parent and child relationship, because I was still under the roof, he's fully paying for my college, and my car. When I say no, you just have to listen, even if it doesn't make sense. And mind you, my parents have never been the abusive type. They've never abused that kind of role before. He's used it once when I almost joined an MLM. So very, very valid. But he told me that. And I was like, that makes no sense. What do you mean you just say no and I say, like, I just listen? Like, we've never done that in our family. Like, what the heck? So I was really mad at my parents for a while. And I spoke with my brother. He didn't love it either. I mean, that was really enough for me to be like, okay, my family is honestly right now the most important thing to me. 3 out of 3 said they don't like it. That's got to tell me something. Yeah.
If love is about effort, then Sarah and Andrew's relationship has fans questioning whether Andrew even understands the assignment. A lasting partnership is built on mutual effort, emotional investment, and a willingness to show up for each other. Sarah, like most people, likely went into this thinking those things were non-negotiable. But as fans dissect their relationship, the truth is hard to ignore. Andrew isn't just falling short, he's not even trying to reach the bar. Let's talk about their engagement ring, because wow, it says a lot. An engagement ring is supposed to be a symbol of thoughtfulness, commitment, and the promise of a future together. But Andrew didn't pick one out. He didn't save up, browse styles, or consider what Sarah might like. Instead, he handed her a used family heirloom, his mother's divorce ring. And here's the kicker. He didn't resize it, redesign it, or even clean it up before giving it to her. It was a literal hand-me-down, passed off as a romantic gesture. Now, sure, family heirlooms can be sweet, but in this case, it feels less like sentimentality and more like pure laziness. Fans aren't just side-eyeing the ring itself, they're seeing it as a metaphor for their entire relationship. Sarah is expected to accept whatever Andrew offers, no matter how low effort, while he reaps the benefits of her patience and devotion. How long can that last? The bigger concern? This isn't just about a ring. It's about respect. If Andrew couldn't be bothered to put in effort during what should have been one of the most meaningful moments of their relationship, what does that say about his approach to marriage? Fans are already predicting disaster. And honestly, it's hard to argue with them. So do you think this is a major red flag, or are people reading too much into it?
And that, so even with like the wedding ring, I wasn't making much money. I'm not someone who was financially super stable, but I did want it to be really meaningful. And what I did was I asked my mom if I could use her wedding ring because my parents are divorced. They had a painful ending to their marriage. And that's always kind of been something that has been a bit of a gray cloud over me. But when I thought of Sarah, it gave me so much hope for what marriage could look like. And it almost felt like a moment of redeeming a broken marriage. And when I asked my mom to use her ring, she was so moved. She was in tears. And it felt like a sacred thing. She'd been saving it all these years, never wearing it, never letting it go either, though. And it just happened to be this perfect, sweet thing where I could redeem some of our broken past and pain that we've experienced and tell her I want to build something beautiful and new, right? And so that's what we did. And luckily, my mom has a very simple, timeless style of ring.
Yeah, she's a very classy, chic lady.
Yeah.
It's timeless. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 prong.
Is this? I thought it was 5 prong.
Yeah, 6.
Oh, okay.
It's very classy.
Yeah, 6 prong.
6 prong. I think. Yeah, literally just had to get it resized.
Yeah.
But then the band, I got it rebuilt just because the style of the band wasn't what I was going for.
Yeah. It was kind of old, bigger, kind
It was
of
bigger,
chunky.
yeah, chunky.
Yeah. So then she took the wedding band and got it redone
And
to
I had a
match her.
sweet Vietnamese man at the Valley Fair stall who's not there anymore.
Yeah. So.
Make it for me. I loved it. We texted back and forth as to what I was.
An engagement ring is supposed to be the ultimate symbol of love and commitment, a sparkling promise of forever. But for Sarah, that ring became something far darker, a glaring red flag. Imagine having to resize your own engagement ring because your partner couldn't be bothered to handle it. That's not just a minor oversight. It's a neon sign flashing, "I don't prioritize you." And as it turns out, this wasn't just a one-time slip-up. It was the first crack in a foundation already crumbling under the weight of Andrew's neglect. Because here's the thing, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And Andrew's pattern of behavior, it's been screaming checked out for a long time. Sarah isn't just carrying the emotional load of this relationship, she's hauling the entire weight of their life together. While she juggles a full-time job, manages their home, and plans for their growing family, Andrew seems to be living in a completely different reality. One where responsibilities don't exist, and effort is optional. Financial duties, bare minimum. Household chores, practically invisible. And the resentment? Oh, it's been simmering for a while now. ****. But the real gut punch? When Sarah was in her first trimester, exhausted, nauseous, and navigating the roller coaster of early pregnancy, Andrew decided his priority wasn't supporting his partner. No, instead, he skipped out on a crucial ultrasound appointment to go on a boys' trip. And who paid for his little vacation? Sarah did. Let that sink in. She was literally funding his freedom while he left her to face one of the most vulnerable moments of her life alone. If that's not a slap in the face, what is? So here's the real question. At what point does neglect become emotional abandonment? Because with every missed milestone, every dismissed responsibility, and every ounce of effort Sarah pours into this relationship while getting nothing in return, it's becoming painfully clear. Andrew isn't just failing as a partner, he's showing her exactly where she stands on his list of priorities. And if things don't change, well, how much longer can anyone stay in a one-sided relationship before they finally say enough?
Andrew decided that he's poor and he plays a narrative that he always been poor. So he said that he decided to go to his mom and ask for her ring. Okay, her mom is divorced, and he was like, you know what? Since this ring is divorced, maybe he can fix it, like make it rekindle to be meaningful. So he gave that ring to Sarah. Mind you, Sarah didn't like the ring, didn't even fit her. It's not what she wanted. Okay, and guess what Andrew do? Andrew decided to go get himself a PC gaming system 2 weeks before marriage. So I guess gaming was more important than a ring. Sarah did have to use her own money, go to the ring shop and resize and redo everything to make it the way that she wanted because she clearly didn't like the ring. Wedding was great. Their honeymoon was great until they decided to get an apartment together and live together for the first time. He decided to put up a gaming system on their first day of moving together and decided to start playing video games at 10 o'clock at nighttime instead of spending time with Sarah. Sarah was like, you know what, it's fine. He's a grown adult. I'll let him play video games with his boys, whatever. He's probably going to play a couple hours. No, he decided to play until 7 o'clock in the morning and didn't realize Sarah left the bedroom and slept in the living room on a little bench because she was tired and she really needs some rest. And next morning, Andrew was like, oh, honey, I didn't even realize you left the room. Basically, he just didn't even check on her. And let me remind you, this is the first time living together. Sarah did express her concern, and it took her a really long time to bring up the topic too about her feelings to Andrew and how he always chooses the boys over her. Let's move on to finances because Sarah had a few very huge concern about their finances. Okay, after they got married, whatever, everything settled down, they decided that they're gonna put their finances together. Whatever Sarah make is Andrew, whatever Andrew make is Sarah's. But the situation is that Andrew is a pastor, okay? And Sarah is in accounting, so she knows a lot about money and she makes way more than Andrew. At one point, Sarah did have a hard time finding a job, so Andrew did help out, with the household and making sure bills are taken care of. But it got to a point where Sarah got laid off from work and she blew up on TikTok, and that's where her money started coming in from social media. And Andrew was like, well, I'm kind of having a hard time at work. I decided to leave. Okay, he decided to leave for 2 years and didn't really look for any other job because he didn't inspire him for the work that he wanted to do as a pastor. So Sarah took the lead of making sure the bills are paid, come home, cook and clean, and commute 4 hours to work. And mind you, she's pregnant.
Imagine marrying the love of your life, expecting to start a beautiful new chapter together, only to find yourself alone, neglected, and questioning if your partner even cares. That's the heartbreaking reality Sarah faced on her very first night as a married woman, as Andrew chose video games over his own wife. And unfortunately, that was just the beginning of a bigger issue that's making fans wonder if Sarah is in this marriage alone. Instead of cherishing their first night together as newlyweds, Andrew stayed glued to his screen, gaming until 3 a.m., while Sarah sat there, waiting for him to acknowledge her presence. When patience ran out, Sarah ended up sleeping on the couch, probably the last place she ever expected to be on her wedding night. But here's the kicker. The next morning, Andrew acted completely clueless, having no idea why Sarah was upset. And if that wasn't bad enough, this wasn't an isolated moment of neglect. It was a sign of something much deeper. Sarah, who's juggling pregnancy, work, and their future as a family, has repeatedly found herself carrying the weight of responsibilities that Andrew barely seems to acknowledge. From managing finances to planning for their child's future, Sarah is in full-on preparation mode while Andrew's priorities seem elsewhere. Fans have noticed the imbalance and aren't holding back, urging Sarah to put herself first and reevaluate what she's getting out of this marriage. And let's talk about that financial divide, because it's glaring. While Sarah is working multiple jobs, handling her social media commitments, and actively planning for their child's future, Andrew's approach to responsibility seems practically non-existent. Sarah is already thinking long-term, college tuition, financial security. But Andrew, his lack of financial agency is becoming yet another major red flag.
Even though he may not be a provider sometimes, and she just wants the world to know that that's the relationship that they are in right now. Andrew giggled and laughed about the whole situation, and he was like, yeah, this is why I love her. She's a provider. She's making sure everyone's taken care of, and I love that for her. After they found out they're having a baby, Sarah told her family, and you can see the reaction from Papa Kim. Everyone was not as excited, I guess. You gotta watch her videos to see the reaction. Sarah had to go to her first ultrasound alone because guess what Andrew was doing? Going on a boys' trip. Guess whose money he's using? Sarah's money. And again, red flag, like she mentioned before, sometimes he will prioritize his boys over her. Sarah did explain that while Andrew wasn't working for over 2 years, he did help her build her social media platform up. And there was something that he did while he was unemployed. While during this whole time, she go through a lot of stress. She expressed that no matter what, she might be the breadwinner, and she might, always be the breadwinner, and she still want a provider at the end of the day. Andrew is in the process of going back to being a pastor. Okay, he trying to find work at this point. Sarah said that no matter what, she's going to continue to work in corporate America because she's the breadwinner. Okay, and she said that she enjoys what she do as a job and career path, and they have separate career path, and that's okay. They're working on their marriage at the end of the day, and once the baby do arrive, and they decide that they're gonna make it work, so she's gonna continue to go to work after she delivered the baby. Okay, she's not gonna stop working corporate America because the income has to come in.
While Sarah carries the weight of their finances, working tirelessly to provide for their growing family, Andrew seems unbothered, spending his time gaming and avoiding any real contribution to their household. His justification: love is more important than money, and since he grew up in poverty, he doesn't see the big deal. But for Sarah, financial stability isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity, especially with a child on the way. And that's where the tension really starts to build. The growing imbalance between them has become a major source of frustration for Sarah. While she grinds daily to keep everything afloat, Andrew seems way too comfortable watching from the sidelines. His lack of urgency, effort, or even willingness to step up has fans side-eyeing him hard. Many have called out his behavior as irresponsible and inconsiderate, especially given how much Sarah already has on her plate. When a partner refuses to pull their weight, it doesn't take long before resentment starts creeping in. And from what we're seeing, Sarah is already there, but the issues don't stop at finances. Andrew's attitude towards Sarah is rubbing people the wrong way, especially after he publicly disrespected her in ways that had fans absolutely fuming. In one instance, he referred to her as "this person in my house" during a live stream, making it seem like she was just some random guest rather than his wife. And if that wasn't bad enough, he also accused her of mocking him while he was trying to learn Korean, flipping the narrative to make himself the victim. It's moments like these that have people questioning whether he actually respects Sarah at all. And let's not forget, Sarah isn't just dealing with work stress and financial pressure. She's also pregnant, meaning she's carrying the emotional and physical load of their relationship, while Andrew does, well, the bare minimum. Fans have been begging her to wake up and recognize the red flags, urging her to walk away if she's truly unhappy. Some are even drawing comparisons between Andrew and Sarah's father, who has always been a rock of love and support for her. Seeing the stark difference between the two only makes Andrew's lack of effort even more glaring. So, the big question remains, how much longer can Sarah keep this up? Will she continue trying to make it work, or will she finally reach her breaking point and walk away? And if she does, will Andrew finally realize what he's lost, or will he stay in denial? One thing's for sure, Sarah's fans are rooting for her happiness, whether that means staying and making it work or choosing to move on. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Sarah will recognize the red flags before it's too late? Or will she keep trying to fix something that's already broken? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And before you go, make sure to check out the videos on the screen for more updates, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss the latest tea. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.